Everyone, this is Dan, and this is the New Mutants Classic, Volume 5, and this is the New Mutants Special Edition, number 1. I know, it's a cell phone video. I was watching Clint at Sweetcast, and he was doing cell phone videos, and I got nostalgic, so I wanted to do a cell phone video again. I'll try to do some more interesting editing to make it a little more fun. But figured it wouldn't hurt to go back to the old school format just for a little bit right here. So the New Mutants Special Edition, so we're pretty far into the New Mutants at this point. And this is a freaking crazy 64 pages of awesome, dude. Holy cow. First off, this is, I don't think this is the first time we see Art Adams, but I think this is the first time Art Adams draws the X-Men. And it's really, really good. Again, written by Chris Claremont, inks by the great Terry Austin. At this point, Ann Nocenti's the editor for both New Mutants and X-Men, and of course Jim Shooter as editor-in-chief. So the New Mutants Special is essentially a freaking crazy-ass adventure with the New Mutants. They get basically kidnapped by Loki and sent to Asgard on a crazy-ass adventure. So Loki essentially is getting all hot and bothered for Aurora, Storm, and so he has a plan to basically seduce her to become his queen, and he sends the Enchantress off to kind of kidnap the New Mutants in the process. So those of you who don't know, and you're probably looking at this crazy photo like here, like, what the hell? So in the previous arc of the New Mutants before this, there is a freaking crazy-ass storyline where the New Mutants basically, again, without their knowledge, are basically fighting Shawn, one of the original founding members of the New Mutants, who they thought was dead this whole time. She was actually possessed by a villain from like a freaking super obscure X-Men comic from way back in the days that Chris Claremont just pulled out of his ass. And that character basically had lost his body, so he had possessed Shawn, and basically, you know, had all of the same habits. He was kind of a fat fucking loser, and so he ate like a fat fucking loser while he was in Shawn's body. So she's basically obese and absolutely disgusting. And it's actually sometimes I read like modern comics, and they're always trying to make you be sympathetic to people who are fat and or ridiculously obese. And I've always found it to be tacky and silly, but this storyline with Shawn is so well written. It's freaking fantastic, and Chris Claremont approaches it perfectly. He doesn't try to make you feel freaking sympathetic for fat people or believe like fat is an acceptable thing. No, he pretty much shows here Shawn is absolutely horrified as what happened to her, and you know, it's just, you know, Art Adams makes her look absolutely disgusting and monstrous. But you know, there's a good message here between her and Storm, you know, that, hey, you know, this happened to you, but you can overcome, and we'll see as we go through this that she does. New Mutants are having fun on the beach, a lot of fun stuff. Danny kind of pulls a little prank on people, and they have like a fighting scene. This is right before the Enchantress shows up and basically beats the crap out of the New Mutants and captures Aurora. And at this point, Aurora gets taken by Loki, but the Enchantress is got all the New Mutants to herself. And at that point in time, Illyana kind of bounces off and be like, bitch, you ain't the only one with freaking magic. And just as she's about to zap him out, the Enchantress pulls a pretty cool trick and basically neutralizes Illyana's magic, and her stepping stone is only able to transport all the rest of the team. But she doesn't have control of where they transported them, and this is where the real magic of this New Mutants Special comes in handy. Karma, or Shawn, gets transported in the middle of a desert by herself. Doug, Cypher, gets thrown into a Viking hall and beaten up and enslaved by a bunch of brutish Vikings. Rain, Wolfsbane, gets basically transported to the land of giants, where she meets another wolf that she falls in love with. Let's see, this is, Warlock ends up fighting a dragon and running into Hela and running away. Bobby's quest is actually really hilarious. He ends up basically in a mead hall doing arm wrestling and freaking hitting on chicks. Amara gets tricked by fairies and turned into a fairy. and Sam has to fight in the land of the dwarves, and basically saves the Dwarf King's daughter, but at a pretty nasty cost. And then, of course, the biggest one to me, my favorite character, Dani Moonstar, she discovers Brightwind, saves the unicorn, or Pegasus, I guess I should say, and ends up taking it as her steed. And, and this in turn transforms Dani Moonstar Mirage into a Valkyrie, which she kind of takes on that form from here on out in New Mutants. So they all go through crazy-ass adventures, and in the meantime, Enchantress sends out some people to go through. And I wanted to kind of focus on Sean a little bit right here, and I also don't want to run this video on too long. So Sean, she's basically given up on life because she's, basically a freaking human, just freaking disgusting to look at. And but she finds this young girl, and she's able to use her mind trick skills to stop this beast from killing her. And then saving the young girl has given her inspiration to keep going on. And I'm going to keep jumping through. You can, if you've never read this special, go buy it, or this. It's really, really good. Like, it's just, oh my god, 64 pages of Chris Claremont. Holy shit, so much story. And what's really interesting is you see Sean as she's slowly accepting, what she is, and instead making good of it, right? And you see this, she's taking care of this young girl, trying to get through this desert, trying to survive this, and you kind of slowly see Art Adams and Chris Claremont take some weight off her little by little, till we get to the end, and bam, dude, freaking Sean is ripped now. Holy crap. It's a freaking great transformation of this character that was just utterly destroyed in the last story. It's a great freaking redemption recovery arc for Karma. And yeah, man, holy cow. The New Mutants eventually get back together, and they get back and kick the crap out of Enchantress. I love this last scene where Ileana basically, oh, look at that dark one, where she's just sort of like, okay, it's like she's basically defeated the Enchantress, and here's Sim playing with her, and she's sent her to Limbo, and she's like, she isn't to be physically harmed, Sim. Beyond that, use your imagination. Freaking great ending. Oh man, 64 pages of awesome. If you never read the New Mutants Special Edition, totally worth getting. Alright, how'd I do? So, this is the first piece of artwork where I didn't use a panel from the comic. Instead, I decided to take a look at what happened in the comic, and I used it as inspiration to make a unique piece of art. So here's Dani Moonstar, Mirage on Brightwind. Okay, so I'm gonna go, hopefully my editing skills are good. This should show pencils, inks, bam, colors. If you're looking at the screen right now, it should show the coloring. I put a little more work into the coloring. I actually did some rendering and some gray shading, especially around the horse, to give it a little more life to it. But yeah, man, this is the first piece of art where I just did this straight from my imagination. Kind of what I thought, Dani Moonstar, in her Valkyrie form should look like. Ended up doing pretty well. I'm surprised I drew a horse, okay? I haven't drawn an animal in any of these, and I drew a horse straight from, I just straight up drew it. I think the only thing is, I think the legs are still kind of wrong for this horse, and I think this wing needs to be a bit bigger, but it ended up pretty good, man. It ended up pretty good. Hoo-wee, yeah, freaking New Mutants Special Edition. Check it out. Anyhow, that's it for the review. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments on the New Mutants Special Edition #1 or this nice piece of Dani Moonstar that I did for the comic review, I should say, leave it down below, and I will see you next time.